Chapter 2. The Voice. Blake Moore, the voice said. Stated, not asked. The line was so clean, it didn't sound like a call. It sounded like someone standing in the room with him, speaking into his ear. Yeah, Blake said slowly. Who's this? You may call me Bill, the voice said. I'm calling about your situation. He sat up a little. My what? Your current trajectory, Bill said. Little money, no stable employment, no dependence, a pattern of short-term jobs you don't care about, and a mounting sense that you're wasting your life. Blake's skin prickled. That's vague enough it applies to half my generation, he said. You selling crypto? Or a course? Or what? If I was selling something, Bill said, I'd open with a limited-time discount. I'm not. I'm offering work. Right, Blake said. You sound like every dodgy advert on the tube. You still read them, though, Bill replied. You read the posters. You watch the news tickers. You scroll job sites you secretly hate. You ask late-night questions into boxes on screens. You're looking for something that doesn't make you die inside by 40. Blake swallowed. How do you know that? He asked, keeping his voice steady. I pay for good data, Bill said. Most of your life leaves a trail. Rentals, purchases, missed payments, CV uploads. People in your position cluster in familiar shapes. I specialize in noticing them. People in my position, Blake repeated. Sounds like a right catch. You're not the kind of person recruiters brag about on social media, Bill said. That's precisely why you're useful to me. He bristled, then caught himself. You haven't actually said what you do, Blake pointed out, or what you want. I manage capital and access, Bill said. Quietly. At the moment, I'm assembling the foundations for a set of ventures. They don't exist yet in the way you're imagining. No glossy brands, no offices, but they will. To make that happen, I need someone physically present in places I cannot be. What, like a gopher? Blake asked. Office junior with delusions of grandeur. If you like, Bill said. You'll sign forms, open accounts, collect documents, sit in rooms under your own name so other people can get comfortable. The tasks will look small on paper. The consequences will be larger. That sounds sketchy, Blake said. Sketchy is what people call things they don't have the full picture of, Bill said. You won't have the full picture. That's partly the point. And why, Blake said. Would I trust some guy who calls out of nowhere and admits he's been profiling me or whatever? You don't have to trust me, Bill said. You only have to decide whether you prefer your current path. You have, by my count, less than a month before your landlord begins formal proceedings. Your overdraft is effectively frozen. You're already at the stage where you're rationing food and imagining what it would be like to sleep on the street. Blake closed his eyes briefly. The homeless man by the cash machine floated up in his mind. Cardboard sign, bare hands. You don't know that, he said quietly. I know enough, Bill said. In my experience, people in your position do one of three things. They implode quietly. They cling harder to the idea that a normal job will appear if they just send one more CV. Or they let someone like me show them another route. That last one doesn't sound reassuring, Blake said. Reassurance isn't what you need, Bill said. Options are. Silence hummed in Blake's ear. Down the hall, someone in the house laughed. A burst of sound, then gone. You keep saying, someone like me, he said. What are you then? A coordinator, Bill said, after a moment. A planner. I'm putting pieces in place for structures that don't exist yet. When they do, they'll need paperwork, signatures, bank accounts, directors of record. None of that can be done by abstraction. By what? Blake said. Unimportant, Bill said, and then, before Blake could pin that down, Bill moved on. For now, think of me as an employer who hasn't registered the company yet. So you're not even offering an actual job, Blake said. You're offering vibes. I'm offering you a chance to be at the beginning of something, Bill said. When the foundations are set. That's where the leverage is. What happens if I say no? Blake asked. Nothing, Bill said. You keep doing what you're doing. Applying for jobs where you're one of hundreds of CVs in a stack and algorithm skims. Watching your account drift further into the red. Feeding your cat before you feed yourself. And assuring your mother's photo you're working on it. Blake's hand tightened around the phone. You could have stopped at the jobs and the overdraft, he said. You're not hard to read, Bill replied, even without data. The way he said it made Blake feel see-through. And what happens if I say yes? He asked. Then we start small, Bill said. You'll meet people you don't understand, in buildings you've never been inside before. You'll sign papers for entities that don't exist yet but will. You'll be paid more than makes sense for what you think you're doing. That last bit should probably worry me, Blake said. It should, Bill agreed. You'll do it anyway. He thought of walking past the homeless man and feeling nothing but a tired sort of relief. Of the adverts telling him owning was over, fairness was compulsory, safety was a justification for everything. Stalled, that was the word, like a car stuck between gears, engine whirring, going nowhere. You haven't talked numbers, he said. Your debt, Bill said, is small compared to the amounts I intend to move. Clearing it is an easy early test of whether you can follow instructions. It was vague, but for the first time that day, the tight band around his chest loosened, half a notch. This still sounds like the prelude to someone harvesting my kidneys, he said. If I wanted your organs, Bill said, I'd have approached you in a hospital, not on the phone. Unhelpfully, that did make Blake snort. This is the part, Bill said, where you expect me to give you time to think about it. You're not going to? Blake asked. No, Bill said. You've been thinking about it in some form for the last year. Little fantasies about someone appearing out of nowhere with a different script. This is that moment. Leaving it hanging will only make you anxious and more likely to retreat. You sound sure of that, Blake said. People like you are a pattern to me, Bill said, not unkindly. This is a yes-no decision. I don't recommend flipping a coin, but I won't be offended if you do. The neighbor's TV burbled through the wall. Pixel purred, oblivious. Yes or no? The simplest question he'd had in months. Also, the largest. His mouth was dry. Yes, he said. Good, Bill said. Then this is the last Tuesday you'll wake up feeling like this. The line clicked. No goodbye. Blake kept the phone pressed to his ear a few seconds longer, listening to the nothing. Then he lowered it and stared at the screen. No number to redial. Just unknown. Pixel climbed determinedly into his lap, kneading his thigh through his jeans. He stroked her absent-mindedly. Guess we're something now, he told her. She blinked, unconcerned. Outside, someone walked past the house, humming the catchy jingle from an advert. Why own when you can rent your life? Blake lay back on the bed, the word yes still echoing in his head like a decision he'd make again and again every time he looked at his balance, at his ceiling, at his cat. He didn't connect the call to any chat window or app. Why would he? The world was full of invisible systems, making decisions about people. Maybe one of them, for once, had decided to make one in his favor. For the first time in a long time, tomorrow did not feel pre-written.